Good afternoon. My name is Michael Fedele. I'm the founder and CEO of Fedele and Associates. We're a full-service CPA firm, but we specialize in solving and fixing the most complicated and difficult IRS problems. We're here at the Business Show Miami to service business clients, high net worth people, athletes and entertainers specifically. We've opened up in the Miami office in South Beach, and we plan on delving into all of the IRS problems that you have, and we welcome you to come to our booth, which is B242, during this business show. One of the things that sets us apart is we take what I will call aggressive defensible positions on your taxes. What do I mean by that? Well, unfortunately, my profession is filled with tax accountants that really don't fight for you like they should. They don't know the code, they don't know the regs, they don't know tax court cases, they don't know the rules, the Internal Revenue Manual, and the regulations like they should. In addition to that, many of them are afraid of the IRS. We're not afraid. In fact, if you came to us with a tax audit, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to say to you, we're going to be your power of attorney, and you're not going to talk to the IRS anymore. We want you out. So we take aggressive positions, and we do that also on your taxes. I don't know if you know this, but if you're a real estate professional, do you know that you could take unlimited losses on your real estate rental activities? Do you know that you could take unlimited losses if you're a day trader, if you have a day trading status and you file the mark-to-market exception? Do you know that you could take significant losses as a professional gambler? Many people don't know this. They just think that they're limited to, for example, as a day trader, to the $3,000 capital loss, but you're not. We know how to get you all the losses that you had for the year. So there's a lot of things that we do for clients that a lot of tax accountants either don't know or they're too scared to take because they don't have a good handle on the IRS regulations and the IRS code and tax court cases. Another thing is we set you up to win. For example, if you're a consultant and you're paying too much in taxes, many people don't realize that you're paying income taxes and you're paying Social Security and Medicare taxes. We set you up with a C Corp or an S Corp or an LLC with an S Corp election so that you can minimize your self-employment and your Medicare taxes and keep as much money in your pocket as possible. Many tax accountants are leaving too much money on the table for their clients. So we strategize with you to figure out, based upon your profession, how to minimize your tax debt and keep as much money in your pocket as possible. We also help you to abate penalties through filing what we call reasonable cause abatement letters. Those are very difficult, and there's very few accountants that actually know how to do them. We do them successfully. As long as you are exercising ordinary business care, you can get out of these penalties through an abatement letter that we prepare along with all the documentation. Many accountants just walk away from it. They don't know how to do it. And so you're sitting there with serious civil penalties, statutory civil penalties under Code Section 6651 or 6721. You're sitting with abatement penalties that no one knows how to get you out of. We know how to do it. We know how to write those letters, and we know how to eliminate that debt. In addition to that, we have successfully done thousands of offers in compromise. We have about a 95% success rate in doing offers in compromise to take debt down to $500. We successfully take clients from owing $150,000 or $180,000 or more down to $500. So if you have IRS debt, we know how to eliminate it or significantly reduce it through various different mechanisms, offers in compromise, abatement letters to eliminate tax debt. So come and see us at the booth and share your story with us, and let's see if we can put you in our database and put you on our monthly newsletter and start helping you with eliminating that IRS tax debt.
main issue is I didn't have the money to pay the IRS the money that I owed them at the time, and it kind of caught up with you. It was probably over a period of 10 years. There was probably 3 or 4 years that I wasn't able to pay, and the interest was just mounting up in penalties, and it was over $67,000 that I owed. It just seemed like kind of a hopeless situation where I was never going to be able to get out from under it. Instead of paying $67,000, I, through your skill and I don't know what you did, but I only had to pay $500. It really is a fresh new start with life, and just such a huge burden has been lifted off of me and my family.
Stephanie Dunlap. I work assembly line at Ford Motor Company. I was head over heels with the IRS debt. For many, many years I had IRS debt hanging over my head and brushing it off, putting it to the side. I contacted the IRS several times, inquiring about offering compromises, and they wanted me to send 20% of the debt. And if you don't just have that type of money sitting around, it was kind of impossible. So I saw testimonials of real life people like myself. It actually took that for me to go ahead and, realize that I can't handle the IRS on my own. Right now, I feel like Fedele and Associates have saved my life. I've saved $16,350. It lifted a burden off of me. Looking at the future, my 2015 will be great. So I would highly recommend Fedele and Associates. My name is Stephanie Dunlap, and Fedele and Associates turned my $22,000 debt with the IRS into $1920. The cost of this was definitely worth it.
My name is Mark Joslin. I work for New York Life Insurance. You go see a doctor about a second opinion about things. Why not go see Mike for a second opinion? What Mike did is he looked at my books and he found a $250,000 mistake of my previous accountant, and that's what he saved me. This other accountant was hurting me by not finding that, not having the best staff with you. At one point, I did owe the IRS like $750,000, and I know his knowledge of the tax laws, and so I felt confident that he could show me the right way, which way I'm going to go. And then Mike did an offer and compromise with the IRS for me, and he got all my money back. And another saving grace for Mike, and saving grace for me from Mike. I was ecstatic. I was totally surprised, and I'm very thankful for it. Mike, since I've known him, has helped me save my life, and I just say that Fedele and Associates, I can't praise them enough. I'd like to speak to anybody about this because I can show them that basically they have saved my life.
My name is James Gordon. I'm a truck driver, and I've had problems with owing the IRS for many years. A large amount of back taxes that are owed. It kind of felt like it was going to go on forever, though. Mike Fedele let me know right away that if he couldn't help me, that nobody else could. The original debt, I believe, was, in the $60,000 to $70,000 range, and they got it down to $576 for it, which was a true blessing. So, it's got to be a very tremendous weight off my shoulders. I'm very happy. Looking forward to the future. Fedele and Associates helped me get my life back. Helped me get this burden off my shoulders so I can live again. Fedele and Associates saved my life, and I'm very thankful to them.
My name is Edward Kretzer, and I work for the United States Postal Service. I had a house, and I was upside down in it, so the only way to get out of it was to do a short sale. I was left with a deficit of about $103,000. According to H&R Block, I would have owed the IRS approximately $40,000 in taxes. Fedele and Associates was able to work with the IRS for me, and when they got done, they got me a refund of $6,000. So they were able to flip the $40,000 negative equity into a $6,000 profit. There was nobody else that I checked with that could have did that. And ever since then, I've been coming to Fedele and Associates. Fedele and Associates saved me financially. There is no one else that could do it. Believe me, trust me, if you're having problems with the IRS on back taxes or anything, Fedele and Associates will save your life financially.
My name is Cynthia Daniel. I'm a paralegal for a law office here in the Homewood area. Briefly touching, I lost my mom and my brother within 5 weeks of each other. Circumstances negated that I borrow from my 401ks and prematurely. So in order to do that, then I wound up having to pay penalties and extra interest and everything on that money. I had checked into other companies, other commercials to see, oh, you owe us IRS, we can do this for you, we can do that for you. You make that phone call, and it was a line of, quite frankly, BS. So I figured I couldn't lose any more by trying.
Right.
And I have to tell you, my had changed. I'll tell you right now, I am a believer. Fedele and Associates saved me $42,300 and some dollars. My name is Cynthia Daniel, and Fedele and Associates did save my life and my home. Thank you.
Sean Sheely, also known as Chandra Sheely. I was getting disability, but they told me that because my employer paid the premium on my disability, I didn't get the tax benefit, they did. So yes, while they made a mistake and they were sorry about the confusion, I still now owed them well over $100,000. That's been the sentiment of the IRS. Yes, yes, it's our fault, but it's absolutely not our problem. And I saw Fedele and Associates, and the way that I saw them, it came up in my feed on Facebook, reading all of these stories and getting excited and going, okay, maybe there's a glimmer of hope here. You guys laid out the entire process for me from start to finish, and we were on our way. And at that point, I just stepped back and let you guys do your magic. I mean, being able to wake up every morning and actually have hope for my future, not being bullied by the IRS anymore, feeling accomplished that, this time the little guy won. I'm Sean Sheely, and Fedele and Associates saved my life.
Brittany Sledge, and I am a non-for-profit organization called No More Bare Feet. And what we do is we give unapproved children shoes, brand new shoes. Go to the nursing home and give brand new shoes to those people who are unable to afford shoes. So I tried to file for non-for-profit status myself, but it was too complicated. I came in and I gave them my paperwork, and right away they told me they can help me, and they got the ball rolling. Mr. Fedele, he have an organization too. That's really what pulled me into this. Every time I call, they answer the phone. If I leave a message, they get back with me. I'll be able to get into some places that I wouldn't really be able to get into. I'll be able to get some donations that I wouldn't be able to get. The best thing is, if you're trying to file for a non-for-profit and you need somebody to really get the job done for you, I recommend that you come here and they will get the job done for you.
Truck driver, and I was in debt with the IRS for $183,000. I went to 2 different accountants, and they were scared of it. I was scared, panicking, didn't know what was the outcome, thinking my life was over. Michael said, "I'm gonna get that straightened out for you." And then that's when I was like, oh, this guy really good. He knows what he's doing. I ended up paying the IRS $640. I'm happy, smiling, and I can live again. Thanks to Michael Fedele. And he will make a believer out of you, because he made a believer out of me, and he's the truth. My name is Andre Thomas, and Fedele and Associates saved my life. I can breathe again. Thank you.
Over the last 3 years, we've rescued and adopted out over 250 stray cats. We find them medical help, we make sure they have their inoculations, and we find the right home for these pets. I worked with some friends volunteering who had a 501c3, and I saw the advantages. And I knew this is something I had to do if I wanted to grow. I truly thought I could do this on my own. And I tried to do it on my own. I made endless trips downtown Chicago, picking up forms that were useless, trying to find information on my own. I thought, I'm smart enough, I can do this. I worked in an office for 38 years. Impossible. I gave you the information and you made it happen. You're knowledgeable. I came in, I sat down, I asked questions. You gave me answers I didn't anticipate. You gave me more than answers. You made this happen. I was very, very pleased with working with you, and we're worth every penny. And already I see the benefits. We have $500 donations now. We had a $1,000 donation, which was just remarkable. They would not do that in the past.
My name is Charles P. Overstreet II. I had a person to do my taxes. They did some things wrong, and I ended up getting caught up like 4 years later, and penalties and interest went above the roof. We're talking like maybe $18,000. I couldn't get sleep at night. I was troubled. I talked to Mike. Mike said, well, hey, when can you come in? I said, well, I can come in today. I listened to him, and, he made me feel comfortable. Mike looked at it. He said, I can help you. We got right on it. When he finished dealing with it, all I ended up paying was $500. And you can't beat that. A total relief. Go to Mike, Fedele and Associates. You will not go wrong. I told you my story. It's the truth. I'm happy. I'm happy.
My name is Gina McNeil. Currently, I'm a school teacher for Chicago Public Schools. When I was going through my transition with my job, divorce, keeping up with paperwork and so forth, just went from making 6 figures to 0. 6 months after I filed bankruptcy, then my father passed. It was just things, paperwork, just things getting behind. My whole life just changed drastically. I didn't think that it was going to be solved. That's when I decided to come to Mike, because I figured they would be able to take care of my tax problems for me. My tax debt was $23,000, and we offered them $500. I feel Fedele and Associates saved my life, and I highly recommend Fedele and Associates.
My name is Israel Sanchez. I'm a tattoo artist, and I was having some issues with the IRS, and you guys really helped me out. Yeah, I owed them 26 grand, and I didn't have it. That was the problem. It's just a constant weight that's always on you, knowing that you owe this money, and the government is coming down on you and making your life difficult. You wound up getting the IRS to settle with me for $500. It's just that worry, that constant worry is gone. I can focus on other things that are pressing in my life at this point. I can actually put money away in a bank now and not worry about the IRS seizing it. Start up a savings account again. I wasn't able to do that for the last 7 years. I am a lot less stressed. You see all this gray in my beard? That was the IRS.
Okay, and
I'm gonna go get some Just for Men and live my life. My name is Israel Sanchez, and Fedele and Associates saved my life.
My name is Richard Cobbins. I'm the president of New Beginning Affordable Homes. What we do is we take in low-income people and middle-income people. Some we rehab homes, put them in. Some we put them through the program of learning how to own a home. When we were looking for homes through the agents, they had made suggestions. If you were non-for-profit, the banks would actually donate the homes to you. Non-for-profit allowed us to write off a certain amount of things that we couldn't write off as a for-profit. I ran across Mike Fedele, and that's when he said, let me see what we can do, and we went through the process. I know 20 years of doing it before I met Fedele, I think we would be still on the same track, robbing Peter to pay Paul. It has helped tremendously.
My name is Troy Gibson. I think I owed the IRS about $14,000. It's a lot of pressure. Every time you look up, you get notices in the mail, garnishments, wagers, you get a lot of that, I really felt I was going to lose my job because nowadays you can't have the IRS putting pressure on your job. It was just like it was going to haunt me. Mike told me that he was going to break that $14,000 down to about $500. And he said, I can guarantee you that, and I said, hey, let's do it. And it was done. Mike kept telling me he's the best, and he proved it. I feel it felt like something was lifted up off of me, It really do. They saved my life. Yeah, they made my life better. Yeah, took that pressure and that stress off of me. I feel great now. I really do. It's the honest truth. Yeah.
I've been a tax accountant for over 40 years, and I've had more than 100,000 clients. And by my estimations, I've saved clients more than $2 billion in 40 years. That includes not only offers in compromise, that is eliminating IRS debt, but also reducing clients' taxable income, businesses and individuals, and also getting clients out of numerous penalties over the years. Lots of statutory civil penalties that most accountants don't know how to do. In fact, most accountants don't know how to do offers in compromise well. They don't know how to reduce your taxable income. And there's a number of secrets, special tax secrets, that I'd like to share with you during the business show. And I'm going to be having a special teaching on that, a seminar. And it's going to last about a half hour, and I'd like to invite you to that. That's going to be May 7th at around 2:00 p.m. at the Miami Convention Center. So I do invite you to come over there and to listen to that seminar so that you can get some of our tax secrets, and it could set you on your way to eliminating or reducing your tax debt. There's a lot of things that clients don't know about because their tax accountants don't know either. And so there's so many ways in which you can reduce your tax debt. And very first thing is, if you're a business owner, we've got to set you up on a business. We've got to set you up with an S Corp, either through an LLC with an S Corp election or a C Corp with an X election. You should not be a contractor that is self-employed unless your income is under $50,000 and you've got children and you're getting the earned income credit that way. You should be an S Corp or a C Corp. Another difference between our firm and many other accounting firms is we're fighters. We're going to not give up until we get the result that we want for you. Many people give up too soon in life. Many tax accountants give up too soon. They're fighting for you in an audit and they give up. They're trying to remove penalties, abate the penalties. They write a letter. They provide documentation. It doesn't go their way. They give up. No, we go back. We'll do a levy block. We'll do a lien block. We'll do a lien release. We'll do a levy release. We'll do anything. We'll file, if we need to, a petition in tax court in order to get the result that we can get for you. So we're going to fight for you as much as possible. We're fighters here. And that's one of the things that sets us apart from a lot of other accounting firms. And when you come to Fedele and Associates, you come to a family that is willing to fight for you like family with your tax problems, with your IRS problems, in a tax audit, and reduce your taxes as low as possible to get you the most beneficial result year after year after year, and eliminate your tax debt and get your taxable income down as low as possible. So when you come here, I want you to know that you're with the Fedele and Associate family, and I say to you, as my Italian grandfather used to say when he invited every new client into his butcher shop, benvenuto della famiglia dei Fedele e Associati, which means welcome to the family of Fedele and Associates.
Hi, my name is Riley. I want to speak on how professional I believe Fedele and Associates are. They took my tax case and I was froze. I'm not gonna lie. I was stuck in my tracks. I had multiple years of unfiled taxes, and I didn't know really who would be able to help me without it being extremely expensive and still me having to pay out a big debt. They took my case. They assured me they would be able to resolve my case. They gave me a prescribed amount of time, which was a short period of time. They sent me home knowing that this burden had just been lifted, because once I turned over my case to them, they handled it behind the scenes. I'm out of the equation. And that was just so relieving and so satisfying. They took care of it. I was able to settle for a reasonable amount of money, and I'm forever grateful. If you're having issues, I would suggest you see the guys at Fedele and Associates. Don't waste your time. They're not going to waste yours, and they will definitely put you at ease. That's my story.
My name is Linda James, and I'm a senior citizen, and I'm from Lansing, Illinois. My other accountant that I had for many years made a tragic mistake. He told me, no problem, I'm going to fix it. And then I got a registered letter from the IRS that I had assigned for, and he never did a thing. I had owed the IRS $44,000. To say I was upset was an understatement, because who has $44,000? I just didn't even know what to do. I called everyone that I knew looking for someone that could help me. And my brother-in-law had used Fedele and Associates and was so pleased. I came to the office. After speaking to Mike, I was put at ease immediately. You can tell that he's a very bright guy. He knows what he's doing. And after my first meeting with him, I really was put at ease, and I left confident that one way or the other he was going to fix it for me. Not only have them drop the $44,000 that they said I owed them, but Mike also got me a $2,000 refund. And when he called to tell me that, I mean, both of us were just elated. And he told me, he says, Linda, it's over. I know I was floundering. I was making calls. No one seemed to be able to tell me what to do. And now everything is fine. The IRS is completely satisfied. I'm satisfied, and I can't thank them enough. My name is Linda James, and Fedele and Associates saved my life.
My name is Vince Rose. I'm an everyday working Joe. I work for Cook County. I was approximately $10,000 in debt to the IRS. I fully anticipated having to pay it, and having to pay it for at least a few years. Well, I was fortunate enough to hear Mike one afternoon on WVON interviewing with Cliff Kelly, and that interview led me to call Fedele and Associates. And I came to Mike with that dilemma, and he took a quick look at it. And I mean, it was really a cursory glance that he looked. And what surprised me is that on that cursory glance, he determined that he could help me and turn the problem around. I had the wow attitude for a brief moment. Then I thought, is this guy Einstein? Because he didn't look at it for very long at all. And then I realized after a second meeting that he's a very gifted tax accountant. What surprised me is that he could eliminate the debt. That was shocking in and of itself, that he could eliminate the debt. But what was really more shocking and more pleasing is that he turned that debt into a return. And it ended up that I received an approximate $8,000 return and eliminated the $10,000 in debt. Yeah, it's really changed things a lot. I have a significant savings account that I never had before, and I even took a vacation in the Dominican Republic after getting that return. I would recommend Fedele and Associates to anyone in Chicago, Illinois, or anyone in the continental United States to come see Mike Fedele and Fedele and Associates about any IRS dilemma.
My name is Gail Robinson, and I am a client of Fedele and Associates. I needed 3 years of tax preparations for the IRS. I thought I was going to owe the IRS because I had a foreclosure, and I had to withdraw money from my pension. I thought that was going to really make me have to owe. I was just so worried. And then being retired with no job, I really didn't have any money to pay the IRS. I kept thinking they're going to send a sheriff or something out for me because I'm gonna go to jail because I owe for so many years. And it was just a situation, a very bad situation I didn't know how I was gonna get out of. But one day my girlfriend and I were sitting in the car and we heard this commercial, and she said, "Oh, Gail, I heard about them." So I was a little reluctant. I never heard of the company before, but I went on in. After sitting with the person going over my taxes, I began to feel confident that this was the place to be. Fedele and Associates was able to save me $80,000. Can you believe that? Unbelievable. I couldn't believe it myself. I would have had to pay $80,000. Instead, I got a nice, large refund. Just send my adrenaline way up high because I was so excited. I was so excited that when I found out that I was going to actually get money back, I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. And I'm just so excited to imagine thinking you owe the IRS a large amount of money and then instead you get a large amount. That was just fantastic. If you need a miracle, I believe they can make it happen. Unbelievably. Fedele and Associates just, they saved my life.
My name is Corey DeFrance. I actually came in with stress-related issues, financial, taxes, to be exact. I had some downfalls in life. One was a personal issue. I actually lost my home in the process of all this and was still facing the taxes related. So it was very personal. It was losing my home. I am a lottery winner. With lottery comes taxes. Everyone knows that. So even though I did bear the expense of losing a home, losing a loved one, and winning the lottery, I knew that I had to deal with the taxes of all three, especially the lottery. So I expected to pay an enormous amount of taxes. Personally, when I got here, very stressed out. Didn't know what was going to happen. You always go into a situation looking for worst case possible scenario. It was basically a calm nature, and that helped me to relax a lot. You know, everybody was calm. It was like, we do taxes all the time. Nothing. I was over $100,000+ owed. In the end, they were able to create a $50,000+ return. I wanted zero, or I wanted a number that I could work with in terms of settling out with Uncle Sam. And I actually got the biggest return of my life. It was enough to actually go and take care of other personal things. I would have never saw that coming, and actually I'm just getting jitters even having to say. Was I surprised by what you were able to accomplish? I was absolutely blown away. Blown away. Surprise is not even a word. I've recommended Fedele and Associates to everyone that I know. I tell them about my humongous return, and I was just driving down the street, and this little sign said, "Come on in, guy." 8 years of stress removed. This is the stress. This is the stress removed. My name is Corey DeFrance. Fedele and Associates saved my life.
Good afternoon, my name is Michael Fedele. I am the founder and CEO of Fedele and Associates. We will be at the Miami Beach Convention Center May 7th and 8th to help you with your tax problems, your IRS problems. Many people are in IRS jail continually and they don't know how to get out of it. So we have opened up our own office in South Beach, Miami, that is very close to the beach. And we'd love to have you come to our booth, which is B242 at the convention. And in addition to that, I will be having a speech on May 7th. I will be giving a special speech on tax secrets that many people don't know about in order to eliminate or reduce your tax debt completely and get you out of IRS jail. Unfortunately, my profession, CPAs and accountants, are ultra conservative, overly conservative, because they're scared of the IRS and they really don't know the code, the regs, the IRS rules, regulations, revenue procedures, and tax court cases like we do, and they don't know how to implement them. I come with 40+ years experience, and me and my team know how to get you out of IRS jail. We've saved more than 100,000 clients, over $2 billion, by my estimation, over 40+ years. So we have the pedigree, we have the history, and we have the results that we want to bring to you so that we can solve your IRS debt and get you free once and for all out of IRS jail.
My name is Cherie Stewart, and I ended up at Fedele and Associates after having a deed in lieu of foreclosure process for my property. In the process of getting the deed in lieu of foreclosure, my understanding was that the income from or the dollar amount that the mortgage company had to write off because of the deed in lieu would be calculated as income. So I did a little research to find that that wasn't going to be true. However, when my taxes were actually processed, the processor processed that as income, which caused me to have a huge tax liability. The marketing and the commercials and things I heard about Fedele and Associates, the situation and the scenarios that were described in terms of what the company assists people with was exactly the scenario that I found myself in. I was hopeful that my taxes could be amended so that would eliminate the tax liability, but I wasn't sure, so I was open to finding out what could be done. I called in and talked to you guys, but I think part of what sealed the deal and made me comfortable was, again, you guys being able to thoroughly answer my questions. I'm a bit analytical, so I ask a lot of very detailed questions. That gives me a little comfort that the person that I'm engaging business with or doing business with has a level of expertise in that area. So that helped me to feel a lot more comfortable. But a really good friend of mine is a former forensic auditor for the IRS. And when I described to her what was going on and what the approach was going to be to resolve the situation, she was like, oh, absolutely. She said they're 100% right. They know exactly what they're doing. The tax liability that I had for those 2 years was eliminated, and I was also provided with a return. I'm very appreciative of what you guys were able to accomplish. But once you explained to me how you were able to accomplish what was accomplished through the tax code, it made sense. So the stress of it all is gone. It's pretty much a weight lifted. My name is Cherise Stewart, and I am very grateful and thankful to Fedele and Associates for helping me eliminate tax responsibility and recoup tax responsibility that had been paid.
My name is Robert Frisbee. I'm currently employed as an over-the-road driver. I began to take some advice on how I can save money on taxes and do some certain filings that were questionable. And before I knew it, I started getting correspondence from the IRS telling me that what I'm doing is they call it frivolous filings. And before I got too far along, I wasn't sure how to untangle this mess. I started getting I got approximately $15,000 worth of frivolous filings, and I knew that I needed some help from somebody who knew what they were doing to kind of work with the IRS to get that all fixed up. I was getting contacted from the IRS. It was very intimidating. I was adding a lot of stress to my life. I went to my neighbor first, and when they had seen the level of the complexity of my tax issue, they said, you got to talk to this gentleman, Mike Fedele. He knows what he's doing. So I had the full assurance of a friend of ours, a mutual friend, and then it was confirmed when I got here, and Mike kind of explained his experience and his background. He really has an understanding of the ins and outs and the intricacies of how the taxes are filed and how to work with the IRS. By the first time I left the office, I was confident that you guys could help with my problem. Fedele and Associates was able to eliminate approximately $15,000 worth of frivolous filing penalties and bring it down to just around $500, which was a huge lifesaver for me and my family. I was very surprised by what Fedele and Associates was able to do, and it was such a great feeling when I finally got a check in the mail, which was covering the interest that I had paid over the years when I was servicing the penalties, and it was like the closing of a very bad chapter, and it felt really good. My life has definitely changed as far as the stress level is way down, and it just feels like an incredible burden has been lifted off of my shoulders, knowing that I don't have the IRS breathing down my neck. What I would say to anyone in my situation or similar situations of mine is definitely call up Fedele and Associates. I know that they were able to get me out of a very, very thick mess, and they're going to be able to help you with whatever tax problems that you have. My name is Robert Frisbee. Fedele and Associates saved my life.
My name is Thomas Wortham. I've been retired for 16 years. I'm a retired Chicago policeman. I had a short sale, and the IRS charged me $28,000 in taxes on my short sale. That's some property I owned. I was upset. I was angry. I had been paying for over a year. I've been paying on the installments. So I just felt I was stuck with that tax bill, to be honest. They kept adding on. It was like every year it wasn't going to reduce, like I would be paying forever. I had actually heard about Fedele and Associates on the radio. But then someone who had been here and who you helped out told me that you did help them. So I said, well, let me go check it out. And I came in. Well, to be honest, I didn't believe you could do it. And I was highly, highly, highly pleased and happy when I found out that Mike said, oh, I can take care of this for you. you get total amount reduced to zero. Over it's close to $30,000. About 4 or 5 months later, I got a refund. I was very pleased. Very pleased. I'm very pleased, and I've told anybody that Fedele and Associates did do this. I'm a living witness. My name is Thomas Wortham, and Fedele and Associates have really helped me out tremendously. I am very, very pleased with what they did for me, and I would recommend them to anyone that has tax problems of any sorts to come and let them look at it and see if they can help you, and they help me.
My name is Kimberly Davis. I'm a teacher, and I was being taxed by the IRS for investment property, and the amount of the tax was far beyond anything I could pay. I was desperate. I was very upset. I was getting threatening letters from the IRS. They eventually did have a levy and a lien put on my tax, because of my taxes. They put that on my bank account. Like I said, I was just at a point of just being pretty miserable and desperate and needed some immediate relief, so I just came in. This company is pretty unique in that it's very personal, and I think that I really got the impression, I still do get the impression, that people connect personally with the client. What Fedele and Associates was able to do was to delve into the actual problem that I was having with the IRS and see that I was being taxed twice as much as I should have been taxed, and that is why the taxes were so high and I was unable to pay them. So they were able to go back and unravel this big situation, and eventually I received a refund for over $60,000 from the IRS. The IRS was no longer in charge of my bank account or my property, so those liens were all released. The levies and liens were released. I just felt like I had a big weight lifted off of my shoulders. So I just, it was a really amazing feeling. I don't know that anyone else would have taken the trouble to find out exactly what the problem was and to, as I said, unravel it. It was pretty complicated. My name is Kimberly Davis, and Fedele and Associates changed my life.
My name's Omar Jones. I'm a telecom specialist. I had a foreclosure. I bought a home and I was the primary owner. I decided to make some judgment calls and decided maybe I need to, get rid of the property and start renting or something like that. Later on, got a 1099 from the IRS stating that I owed like $120,000. It was like 120 that they said was wrote off pretty much by the bank. So I had friends that had that type of situation going on where they went to other accountants and it just didn't work out. I had been hearing about Mike because I was listening to WVON. It was pretty much a call-in show where you could ask questions. They call in, and at the same time they thank Mike for other business that he had taken care of for him. I knew that he was a guy that I could trust pretty much. So I decided that, hey, I give it a shot. So when I came in and talked to Mike, I was even more confident because I sat down in like 10 minutes. I showed him the 1099 and he was like, hey, we can get this done. No problem. Gave me a list of documents to bring in. Pretty simple. I brought those in and he said, hey, we can get going on this. Not only was it wiped away, I was able to get a return for like $2,500. So that's huge. I mean, you would think, well, you got a debt here of $120,000. No way would you get anything back. And so I wasn't expecting anything, in all honesty, with such a huge debt. But I was able to get a return, a great return. It just seems like magic, but he explained exactly how it goes, though, so everything worked out. But I would say, don't hesitate. Come right in and talk to Mike. So now I'm pretty much financially free in terms of that point. He saved me financially big time. I'm Omar Jones, and I have to tell you, Mike Fedele and Associates definitely saved me financially. Absolutely. No doubt about it.
Hi, my name is Crystal Arsenal. My major form of work is operations manager or customer service manager. At some point, we received a notice that my taxes were not filed and done. Now, in my prior years, I've been working since I was a kid. I've always filed my taxes, and since that time, I filed my taxes, so I don't know what happened in that particular year. I think it started off at $300 or somewhere in that, but by the time they found me, I had moved a couple of times. And to this point, I think it was over $6,000. All the fees and things just began to mount for us until it became out of control. You know, it just became more and more. And I was on a payment plan, actually. And the more I was on the payment plan, and I get my next statement, there was not a dent, even though you're paying and paying. One of the things we had was a lien that was on our property. And we couldn't get it refinanced or anything, which was causing a lot of rift because we couldn't get anything done. It was almost like we were stuck in this place, like the train's at the station, but it won't pull off. I'd actually been praying about it. How can I get out of this mess? And it was just becoming so overwhelming. It was becoming a wedge between me and my husband, you know, with the taxes. And what led me here was the more I tried to work with the IRS, that just didn't work. Information that you think you're giving them to help yourself, and then it turns around and that is used against you, and then you end up in the penalties. And Fedele and Associates felt more friendly. The atmosphere was good when I came in, because I did come in for consultation. And once I came in, it was like I felt okay. Still a little nervous because, you know, you don't want to keep this ball going and never getting this resolved. And Mike kind of assured me, he goes, I can really help you. As you get to know Mike and he gets to grow on you, you know, he is about business. So I came in, but I felt comfortable. And I had a million questions and no one was upset with me. They would always answer my questions, and I call back and check on things and go, we did it, we have it in, we've sent this, and I call back again. So in the end, after we did all this and Fedele and Associates helped us, we end up paying $500 out of $6,000. I think that's a pretty good compromise there. My biggest joy is I feel free, okay? I feel that what was promised to me was actually given to me. So that's a great thing to say, and I'm very impressed with Fedele and Associates. My name is Crystal Arsenal, and Fedele and Associates have made a big difference in my life. They have changed my life dramatically.
Good afternoon. I'd like to talk a little bit about something that I did with my life very specially. In 2001, after I sold my first CPA practice, I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. I had worked since I had been 14 years old and I was tired. And I asked myself, what am I going to do with my life from here on forward? And I took a year off from work, and I read, and I exercised, and I went to the library every day. And right toward the end of that year, I read a book called The Neglected and Abused of a Physician's Year in Haiti by a man named Joseph Benevenga, who was an Italian Catholic. And it interested me because I'm Italian American. And it was about Haiti and his 2 years in Haiti, and how he talked about this country was in desperation and was in complete squalor, and people were living with diseases that he'd never seen before: cholera, dysentery, AIDS, yellow fever. And it touched me very deeply. And in October of 2001, knowing nothing and no one, I got on a plane by myself to Haiti with $50,000 in 8 suitcases by myself. I walked into the airport in Port-au-Prince, and I literally asked, does anybody know English? I started with that. I'd never been to anywhere but Canada, and I've never been outside of the country other than there. And so this was all very new to me. And I asked him to take me to a place called Cité Soleil, where there were children that I'd read about in the book. And he said, no, I can't take you there because you're going to get killed. And I said, well, is there some place you could take me there? It's a little safer, and maybe I can go there by myself. He said, I'll take you to a church. There's churches around here. Okay. So he took me to a church. I met somebody there who ended up being the director of the school and orphanage that I built. And for 40 days, approximately, I stayed in mud huts in a place called Cité Soleil with the kids every day. And after about 40 days, the children asked me to be their father. I was helping them with food and clothes with the money that I had, and I was living out of my SUV and also staying in mud huts every day. And in November of 2001, I began an orphanage and a school in a place called Sousmet-La Haiti with 20 children. And since then, we have become the largest primary school in all of North Port-au-Prince, called Maranatha Orphanage and School in Sousmet-La Haiti, and it's been operating for 24 years. We've graduated more than 10,000 children from that school and orphanage. We've put 4 through medical school, and we've saved tens and tens of thousands of children's lives and their families' lives. And this is something I never could have imagined that I would have accomplished in my life, but it's been an incredible journey, and we continue on. People ask me sometimes how much money did I spend helping people, and I tell them I spent half my life. And they ask me what that is. I say, well, before I answer, I'll tell you this: not only did I spend half my work, but I risked my life on the street. There were no street lights. I never even took malaria in a place with literally laced with yellow fever. Hepatitis C, AIDS, all kinds of communicable diseases I didn't know anything about. I never took any medication. Only when I had double pneumonia I would take penicillin, but I never took any pills for yellow fever or anything like that. It's really a miracle that I'm still alive, because most people would die. But the amount of money I spent, I estimate, and by the way, you know, when I'm there in Haiti, I wasn't working here. So I wasn't making any money. But the amount of money I spent in Haiti, probably over 22 years, is around $6 million in my mind. And so, outside of my money, we raised around $4 million from other people. So we've raised and used around $10 million over about 22 years, 23 years. And I'm very grateful for that. And I think it was something I would never change. And it was money well spent. And at some point, we're all just going to be dead. And, you know, we have to ask ourselves, what is the legacy that we want to leave? Nobody's going to remember how rich you were. Nobody's going to remember how much money you made.
My name's Atlas Davis. Not too long ago, there was mistakes made, and some things did wrong, and so it ended up accumulating a lot of money over year after year after year. And then me not filing and making no better. Then with the penalties, it just stacked on up. And I try to deal with them on a one-on-one basis, but they're not in your favor. They are working for the government. They are looking out for the government. No matter what they say or do, they ain't looking out for you. They're looking out for the government. I wanted to file bankruptcy, hoping that it was going to get rid of it. And so in the process, I talked to a lawyer. And so he recommended Fedele and Associates because he said that they was really good at it. I might as well do it because I got no other choice. You know, I know many other places I've heard always going to tell you what they want you to hear to get your money. He told me, I'm not going to take your money, your hard-earned money, unless I know I can win. And so that impressed me a lot. I owed the IRS $126,000, and we was able to settle for $500. You know what? When you tell somebody you don't have to pay the government $126,000, when you don't have to worry for 8 years about the government taking your money at any given time, I was overjoyed. And you know, best Christmas I had that year. So he basically saved me big time. My name is Atlas Davis, and Fedele and Associates definitely saved my life. I can think of 126,000 reasons.
I live in Chicago. I am a physical therapist for several years. I did fall on some hard times and hardship, and I found myself owing the IRS tens of thousands of dollars. I had another an accountant who prepared my taxes prior to this, and I don't think that they didn't have the expertise. My Fedele and Associates, they are a godsend. They really put my mind at ease, and when I would call with a question, everyone had a factual answer. They had good answers, and they were honest answers. I was in debt, like I said before, about $85,000 in debt. And Mike Fedele and Associates decreased my debt down to a little over $2,000. I think it was remarkable, and I'm very satisfied. I think it's like a miracle. I was surprised that this could happen. I was elated. I don't have any worries that the IRS will come back to me saying that things didn't work out, or I know that it's in place and it's solid. I don't think any other accountant in the area or anywhere that I know of could have done such a marvelous job. If there's another person out there who's in the situation like myself, who find themselves in a situation like, I would definitely tell them right away to call Mike Fedele's office. Mike Fedele and his associates will come and explain everything to you and put you at ease in their confidence and their knowledge. I think they are a godsend. Michael Fedele and Associates, they are a godsend, and they help me tremendously.
And I want to give all praises to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. One Sunday I was ministering, and I was ministering concerning overcoming difficulties and trials. One of my parishioners asked me if she could give a testimony. She got up, she started talking about She had found a company that helped her with her tax lien. I realized what she said was the same problem that I faced. I was the president of a corporation and we had a school. Taxes were not paid, so I ended up having to pay the penalties and the tax liens. I felt that I was going to be paying Internal Revenue forever. I had met with them. I had worked out a installment plan, but it seemed like the more I paid on the plan, my taxes was not being reduced. Well, I'd already been to 3 tax consultants and none of them could give me any help. Everybody I went through said that they could not do anything about trust fund. It really was no accident that this lady spoke. She testified, and when she testified, I was excited about what she said. She had the same problem that I had, trust fund, penalties, and liens. And so I came to see Mike. But after going through an interview with Mike and getting started, found out that he actually could give me the help that I needed. And so as a result, he saved me about $95,000. So I am extremely grateful to Fedele and Associates and glad I had an opportunity to meet Mike. I'm from the South, and we learn where there's a will, there's a way. And we found the will in Mike. Fedele and Associates blessed me and gave me a new lease and a release of the burden of having to deal with the tax lien, having my home and everything liened. So I'm just delighted and excited about what I've gained through Fedele and Associates. Thank you, Mike.
My name is Betty Hawkins. I operated a child care center, non-for-profit. I realized I did not have the finance after meeting payroll to meet my obligations with Internal Revenue Services. It came to a point of shutting the centers down, and at that point I became the sole responsible person that owed these taxes. And I struggled to pay the amount that I had been paying, and I just couldn't imagine what am I going to do now. At that point, I owed $82,000 in taxes. My amount of retirement is not going to change, and I don't have the money. And I am going to be homeless, or I'm going to be incarcerated. I was very fearful. I had heard of Fedele over the years because I had been struggling with this problem for quite some years, at least 10. And I didn't know which angle to take, but I knew I was in a position I couldn't help myself. And I needed the expertises of those that could. And I got an avenue of warmth, and I believed I had met the right source. I knew that I had come to a place that I saw just the action of the people and their intake of me, that they knew what they were doing. After everything was concluded, out of the total amount that I owed Internal Revenue Services, I ended with an amount of $118 that I owed. The day that I got the compromise, I said, hallelujah, my God, thank you for such people. Without the knowledge and their expertises, I would have been lost. They solved a problem that I couldn't solve. And I'm very thankful to them. My name is Betty Hawkins. Fedele and Associates saved my life. I must say, they did.
My name is Mark Harrell. I'm an Aflac District Manager in South Highlands office. Being self-employed, I had some struggles on keeping up with my income taxes, almost 10 years behind or more, and I ended up owing the IRS over $89,000 in income tax. When you're going and trying to do business in the world today, and if you have an IRS lien on your credit report, it's like having a big red X on your back that nobody wants to even talk to you or touch you when it comes to financial matters or anything as far as investment or credit. If you know anything about the IRS, you know that they're the most scariest institution probably in the world. People are just afraid. They shrivel when they hear that word. I've worked with many accounting firms, and all they did was put me on payment plans with the IRS and made me throw money out the window because I was paying more in interest than I was for the monthly payment, and I didn't even realize that I was literally just throwing money away. Well, when I walked in the office, I was a little skeptical because, you know, I knew that this was a serious matter, and I didn't have any knowledge on how to resolve this. It felt like I had a brick on my back, and I didn't know how to get it off. I was listening to some testimonies from other individuals that they have helped so great, and it just triggered that this could be my life-changing situation, and I'm just sitting right in the right place at the right time. And that's when I opened up my mouth and talked to Mike about my situation, and he told me that they definitely could help me out. The confidence that Mike gives when he talks to you was very encouraging. I believed in him 100% from day one. 14 months later, I am now debt-free with the IRS with an over an $89,000 debt that has been wiped out, and it only cost me $500 to liquidate the IRS, and I'm really excited about that. And when I put my trust into Fedele and Associates and they did what they said they were going to do, I was very impressed, and I've telling all my friends about it, and I told them that, you know, if you're having some mistakes in life with taxes, don't worry, I got somebody that can help you, and I'll be more than happy to refer them to Fedele and Associates. I don't care what it is, you just need to sit down with Fedele and Associates and let them do their work. Hi, my name is Mark Harrell, and I just want you to know out there who's listening that Fedele and Associates has saved my life and actually brought my life back again by giving me the freedom of being able to live in this world without having to worry about the IRS on my back and looking behind my back and being able to enjoy life. And I just feel so wonderful, so great, so healthy because my mind is cleared because I'm now debt free with the IRS.